The trip I recently returned from was not only a spiritual high point, but it was also a high point from a team building and collegial standpoint. As we met each other in Miami, we were people, a few of us knew each other, but most of us had come from different walks of life and had not met each other previously. And we went down there with the idea that we would get our hands dirty and do some work on this church. And in fact, that was the primary purpose for our going, and that's what we did. But we found as we worked together, as we worshiped together, as we played together, cried together, laughed together, that we became more than just a group of individuals headed to Cuba to do some work. We became a group of Christian people who developed love and care for each other and developed friendships that will indeed last a lifetime. Everyone who went on the trip remarked at how we had gone from just being workers together, that we actually became friends and people who in Christ developed love for each other. An example of that might be that there was a little lady who lived on the street where we worked, where this church is, and she was a victim of osteoporosis. And when she walked virtually at a 90-degree angle facing the ground. And we just saw her walking up and down the street, and finally one day one of the ladies in our group had an extra pair of shoes and decided she would see if this little lady could use them. And it turned out that she could. And the lady's name was Tomasa, and she was 81 years old and lived in very meager circumstances on this street. But we felt as we worked with Tomasa that she was led to us and we were led to her. And as a result of this trip, not only were we able to get her some shoes and help her in that aspect of her life, but we worked with the local bishop's office, and we worked with the local people in the church. And when we left, we were setting up the process to allow her to begin to move toward living in the Methodist home for the elderly there in Havana. And this would provide her with a warm bed and clean clothes and food and medical attention for the rest of her life. And although we worked on the church and worked in the missions, the focus that brought us together with Tomasa was something that bound us all together and let us know that we were there to serve God and to minister to Tomasa. And as in many of these situations, the blessing that came back to us was greater than any blessing that we provided to her.